The Chicago Women's March wants to make it totally clear why the march is not happening later this month as it has the previous two Januaries.
No bearing in terms of what Farrakhan said. No, that was not part of the decision.
This all started in February of last year. The leader of Chicago-based Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, gave a speech which was attended by the co-president of the National Women's March Incorporated, Tamika Mallory. In the speech, Farrakhan praised Mallory and also said this.
White folks are going down. Farrakhan, by God's grace, has pulled the cover off of that satanic Jew.
A month later, the National Women's March condemned those remarks, but critics said that response came too slowly, and Mallory continued to be supportive of Farrakhan. Even though the Chicago Women's March has always been independent from the national organization, they knew this issue wouldn't be good for anybody.
We're just, wow, that's going to be an issue, and they should get on top of it. But again, it was a they. You know, it really was not something that was going to influence what we were doing because we're independent.
Then came last month. The Chicago Tribune put out a story and a headline that hinted the Chicago Women's March was canceled in January because of Farrakhan's comments. The truth is, Chicago's marchers decided long ago they would replace the January 2019 march with a march in November of last year, right before the midterm elections, to get everybody enthusiastic about voting. But the Tribune story touched off a wave of nationwide headlines that the Chicago Women's March was collapsing under the fallout and the finger-pointing of Farrakhan's comments. Some news outlets eventually corrected themselves, others did not.
We're like playing whack-a-mole. You know, you're just like, every time a story comes up, you have to go, wait, no, you have it wrong. You have it wrong.
But there has been some very real fallout. The Women's March of Washington State has dissolved itself over those comments, and the Rhode Island chapter has separated itself from the national organization.
The broader movement is so incredible that to see anything that has a destructive force is painful.
The Nation of Islam declined to talk with us about all this. And while there continues to be talk of racial or religious divisions at the national level and in other local chapters, the Chicago Women's March says for them it is full steam ahead. Andy Roschen, I-24 News, Chicago.